channel. Reese the Sideliner as always. Today we are coming to y'all with the NBA Finals preview. Dallas Mavericks taking on the Boston Celtics. Before we get started, if y'all see right here, that's the video I uploaded yesterday. That's the NBA 2K, my career that we have been, playing and progressing through. Although 2K is kind of a dead game, I still enjoy playing it. I still make content about it, and I enjoy doing so. So if you're interested, go ahead and check that video out. It was the latest video that I posted before this one, so it shouldn't be hard to find. And if you enjoy not only that video but this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. I know the NBA season is coming to an end very, very soon, but if y'all majority of y'all wasn't here last season or in that off season, and that's where we made a big majority of our community. We got 34 subscribers in the time that the NBA Finals ended, from that last game all the way up to day one of the NBA season. So we stay grinding, even though there's no NBA to no games to talk about. We're still in there with the rumors. We're still in there with free agency signings. We're still in there with trade talks, with everything. I'm tapped in all off season. If ever I miss a video, it's because either I'm at work and couldn't, make the video in time for it to be relevant, because especially when it comes to that off-season stuff, you want to kind of try to be first. So if I can't be one of the first people to put something out about a topic, I'm not even going to waste my time putting out a video, because with this being such a small community, I'm not in it for the views, but I do enjoy to see triple digits on my videos as far as the views go. So I'm not going to waste my time when other guys are out there putting out their videos hours ahead of me. Everybody's already got that information. But with all that being said, with the NBA season coming to an end very soon, this is the place that you want to be for the off season. Like I said, NBA draft, post draft, we got the free agency, you got trade talks, all of that's going on. Summer League, I'm here for it, bro. I had a goal that I wanted to try to go to Summer League this year. I set that as a goal for myself at the end of last season. Obviously, that's not going to be a reality this year. Just, some unforeseen circumstances with, finances and things like that. But there's always next year. We will definitely strive to continue to get to where we need to be, where we want to be. But 3 minutes of me talking, I know y'all want to get into some basketball, so let's go ahead and do that. So we will kick it off with the Dallas Mavericks, man. This is a team that coming into this year was a question mark for a lot of people. Obviously missing the postseason entirely just the year prior. Now coming to make the NBA Finals, it is, it's a surprise for a lot of people. Probably not for the Dallas Mavericks. Maybe because they had to make a lot of moves to make this happen, just in this season alone. And we'll get to that for sure. But an interesting fact that I really enjoy about this specific run is the last time that the Dallas Mavericks were in the NBA Finals, their head coach was the starting point guard of the team. Not only was he, an intricate part to that run, he's doing it 13 years later as a head coach and got them right back to this position. So I just want to, hats off to Jason Kidd. You know what I mean? That's something that's like movie. That's like, you take over a team that, and Jason Kidd didn't have the easiest start off to his coaching tenure. I want to say his first year was with the Bucks. If not the Bucks, it was with the Nets. One or the other. But either way, both of those teams, neither one of those stints really went good. And it was, I want to say he got an assistant coach position for a while, but then once he got this Dallas Mavericks head coaching position, that's kind of like, a movie script, you know what I mean? And the fact that the last time that they were even in this conversation of an NBA Finals, he was on the team and he helped lead them to victory in that instance. If he could do it right here, bro, that would literally be movie storybook written right there. This is also the first team since, we talking a decade and a half, almost 14 years since 2010. This is the first team since the Kobe-led Lakers has beaten 3 50-plus win teams en route to the NBA Finals. I'm not sure who the Lakers did it against. I didn't care to really do the research for it, but the Dallas Mavericks in this postseason, round 1, they went against the Los Angeles Clippers, 4 seed. They had 51 wins. Round 2, they went against OKC, the best team out west, was the 1 seed, 57 wins. And then in the third round, conference finals, they take on Minnesota, who was 56 wins, just 1 win shy away from being the best team in the West as well. So it seems to me like this is a recipe for a championship, the way that this team is looking, man. And a lot of the majority of this wouldn't be possible without their general manager, Nico Harrison. And I gotta shout him out, man. Not only did he pull all the moves and, you know, make this team look good, he just got a contract extension earlier today as I was getting my information for this video. So shout out to him, bro, on getting the bag, on an amazing, you know, turnaround of the franchise. He's the man that's making the plays for Dallas upstairs in that front office, putting together this team essentially in a year and a half when you go all the way back to the Kyrie Irving trade. Missing, like I said, the postseason entirely last year as the 11th seed. Intentionally, some people would say, losing that last game so they would fall out of the contention. And now to be looked at as the most dangerous team in the NBA Finals right now, in just one season, like, that turnaround is amazing, and that's why he was executive of the year. That's why he won that award, and that's why he was rewarded by the franchise with that contract extension. When you consider the players that were on this team, on this roster last year, a great majority of them are still on this team this year, but you don't get there without adding glue guys, man. You got Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, Maxi Kleber, Jaden Hardy, Markieff Morris, and Dwight Powell. 8 players. Is Dwight Powell even still on this team? I don't even know, bro. Let's say 7 to 8 players from last year's team that missed the postseason entirely. Then you add in glue guys with Derek Lively the second that you draft, Derek Jones Jr. in free agency, PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford via trade, and you also sign Dante Exum, and he rejuvenates his career because he's finally able to knock down the long ball. With these few moves and pieces, all of a sudden, you're in the NBA Finals. You're looking at an opportunity to win a championship for the first time in 13 years. That hasn't been done, or that doesn't, you know, become a reality without Nico Harrison making the moves that he was able to make. At one point of time in this season, this regular season, that's Dallas Mavericks team, around game 35 and 40, they were teetering 500, bro. A lot of people forget that this team started off really, really rough. They were a teetering 500 team. They were, you know, playing with the between 10 and 8 for a while now, and it wasn't really looking good until they were able to make those moves. Then they ended up winning, I want to say 70 to 75% of their last 3 months of the season. They won majority of those games, bro. One of the most winning teams in that last stretch of the season, bro. So kudos to them, man. And speaking of Derek Lively, it's a funny, not really funny, it's kind of weird and it's kind of annoying because it's my team that's involved in this. But speaking of Derek Lively, man, on draft night, he was wearing an Oklahoma City Thunder team. He was wearing an OKC Thunder hat walking across the stage to shake the commissioner's hand. And he somehow ends up in Dallas. Like I said, it's a weird story. It's not really funny to me because it's my team, but I'm going to laugh about it because it is what it is. These two teams either helped or hurt each other in one way or another by making this one deal. They traded down 2 spots in the draft. So I want to say, yeah, Dallas had the 10th pick, OKC had 12. Or vice versa. OKC had 10th, Dallas had 12. OKC drafts Derek Lively with 10. Dallas drafts Cason Wallace with 12. But those picks are traded, so those 2 players go to opposite teams. So we could have had Derek Lively on our team. And that would have made a huge difference for us in this playoffs, man. I'm telling you, that was the reason why we got 8 up. It's because we didn't have a secondary big that can rebound the ball, that can block shots, that can be another body against these other guys. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the Dallas Mavericks. So by trading down those spots, they also sent over the $17 million, $18 million that Davis Bertans was making, which OKC then later used to trade for Gordon Hayward later in the season. And while they take Gordon Hayward, OKC takes Gordon Hayward out of Charlotte. Dallas also goes to Charlotte, knocks on their door, grabs PJ Washington out of there. Then OKC also kind of facilitated the Daniel Gafford trade, believe it or not, man. The Mavericks traded Rashawn Holmes in the 2024 first-round pick via OKC to Washington for Gafford. That pick was acquired in a completely separate deal between Dallas and OKC, in which the Mavs sent a 2028 pick swap for that 2024 first-round pick, and that's how they got Daniel Gafford. So, in the midst of the draft, we miss out on Lively and take Cason Wallace, who I love Cason Wallace, don't get me wrong, but we needed another big in Lively. I was so excited when we drafted him. Not that I knew anything about him, but just the fact that we got another big to use. Granted, Jay Will, solid and serviceable, bro, but he's only 6'9". We need another. The league is 7 foot. We need more size, and Derek Lively would have helped with that a lot. And then in the Charlotte sweepstakes, we grabbed Gordon Hayward when PJ Washington was sitting there free, not free for the taking, but PJ Washington was on the board too. We could have got PJ Washington. So that's 2 instances where we lose to Dallas and acquiring players. And then with that trading of the picks, that allowed for Dallas to go and trade for Daniel Gafford. And we go 0 for 3 right there. So, and then the Mavs got Washington by trading Grant Williams, who they were only able to sign after salary dumping Bertans in the Lively trade. So just helping them out more and more and more. Like, it's crazy. So we facilitated essentially the entire Mavericks front court, bro. And then that played a major role in ending our season. Obviously, none of that is foreseeable by Sam Presti and Nico Harrison at the time that all those moves went down. It's just a wild coincidence that we just so happened to meet in the second round, and the guys that we could have had made the difference for the other team. So I just thought that was a pretty weird and kind of funny story. Shout out to at JADubin5 on Twitter. That's where I got that story from. It caught my eye. I thought it was very, very interesting. But let's get back to talking about this NBA Finals matchup, which is, I'm pretty sure, why you clicked on this video, right? In their first 2 matchups in the regular season, well, their only 2 matchups, obviously being Western and Eastern Conference teams, you see each other one time at home. Boston had the upper hand in both of those games, not allowing Dallas to score over 110 in either one. And Kyrie Irving played in both of these games, so it's not like they were, shorthanded. And I want to say, I did not look. I should have looked to see if PJ Washington and Gafford were a part of the team in that first matchup. The first matchup was, I want to say, like January 22nd, and then the second matchup was sometime in March. So they were definitely on the team in that second matchup, in which was a far worse loss than the first one. Speaking of that first game, Jason Tatum led the game in scoring with 39 points. He also grabbed 11 rebounds en route to their victory, while Luka led the charge for Dallas with a 33-point, 18 rebound, 13 assist triple-double. They lost that game by 9, 119 to 110. But then in their second game, Luka recorded yet another triple-double and even led the game in scoring with 37 points. He also grabbed 12 boards and dished out 11 assists. But with the Celtics having all five starters score anywhere from 11 to 32 points for the game, respectively, and then 2 bench players also giving you 10 and 12 points, Dallas lost that game by 28. So, we don't really have much to go off of based off of those 2 matchups. One, because, it is regular season. You can only take so much from the regular season, taking into the playoffs, taking into account going into the playoffs. You got to kind of, take it with a grain of salt kind of thing. And then two, these teams, they have been playing very, very differently since those matchups against one another. Side-by-side comparison for the regular season totals, though, Dallas does obviously look as the better team, being the number one team of the entire NBA as a record show. But Boston's record 37-4 at home, while they're 27-14 on the road, compared to Dallas's 25-16 at home and on the road. So they were a pretty even team, either in their home building or in an opponent's building. But this is as evenly statistically of a matchup as you can find between two teams. You got two All-NBA, MVP teetering led kind of guys in Tatum and Luka Doncic, and then All-NBA, All-Star level in Jaylen Brown and Kyrie Irving. Those are your two leaders of the team. And then just essentially the perfect supporting cast in their background with Derek White, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Al Horford. And then you have, Derek Jones Jr., Derek Lively, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford. Who else is over there? THJ, who hasn't really been effective in the playoffs, but he does, kind of fit what the Mavericks need alongside their two stars. You also got Exum, who I mentioned earlier. Jaden Hardy has looked okay from time to time in the playoffs as well. He's had some very solid outings. But as far as the comparisons go, Boston was averaging 120 points per game, while Dallas averaged 118. 46 rebounds to Dallas's 43 rebounds a night. Boston averaged 27 assists, while Dallas put up 26 a night. These are all regular season stats, by the way. I'll get to the playoff ones after this. Both teams averaged 7 steals a game. Boston edged out Dallas with 6 blocks to their 5, and they also edged them out just a bit, 49% from the field to Dallas's 48% shooting as a whole. And then from the free throw line, they shot 5% better, 80 to Dallas's 75. And then they were one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league. Shot 39% from deep, and Dallas shot 37%. But when you compare the postseason, it's still pretty even. But I would say Dallas has the upper hand in probably the most important statistic, and you'll see what I mean. So at home, Boston is 6-2. Their only 2 losses in the postseason have come at home. So that's just, they're taking care of business on the road, though. They're 6-0 on the road, 6-2 at home. You'd rather lose on the road, obviously. But if you can take care of business on the road, you would much rather prefer that too. So losing at home, it's not really a big deal because you get that third game at home in Game 5, in which they closed out both round 1 and 2 in Game 5 at home. And then Dallas 5-3 at home, and then 7-2 on the road. So they're also taking care of business. And pretty much, like I said, one of the most even matchups that we'll get statistically, man. Boston is scoring 111 points per game in the playoffs to the Mavericks 108. This is where it gets kind of scary for Boston. And this could be because they've been missing Kristaps Porzingis, who isn't really the best or, the most effective rebounder, but they their numbers could be kind of skewed because he isn't there. Boston is averaging 34 rebounds a game, while Dallas is averaging nearly 10 more than them at 43. A lot of that has to do with Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively just dominating the offensive boards. And if you give Luka and Kyrie second chance opportunities, especially with the kind of smoke or whatever that Kyrie already has for Boston and vice versa, whatever, that's how OKC lost a lot of those games, is because they were giving up so many second chance opportunities to Gafford and Lively. And then you get an extra kick out to PJ Washington or Derek Jones Jr. and now it's a 3-point play when we could have just closed it out with a defensive rebound. That is going to make Boston is going to have to pay the piper. Although Porzingis is coming back, it's confirmed that he will be back tomorrow for Game 1. The rebounding is going to play a huge part in this series for them. When it comes to assists, Boston is up by 2, 24-22. They both average 6 steals a night in the playoffs. Dallas actually edged out Boston this time in blocks with 6-5. Pretty even in field goal shooting. Boston is shooting 48% to the Mavericks 47. Boston dipped a little bit from the regular season shooting from 39 to 37, and Dallas went down from 37 to 34 in the playoffs. And then Boston is still shooting 80% from the free throw line, and then Dallas dropped from 75 to 73 from the line. So Boston does have the leverage there. If they can get to the line, they can knock them down. Now, I will say, Kyrie Irving is lethal from the line. You don't want to send him there. But you can take your chances with Luka. He's a career 76% free throw shooter, which is crazy to think about considering how great he is across the board. He's not the greatest free throw shooter. And then Derek Lively, who we saw OKC take advantage or try to take advantage of his poor free throw shooting. It didn't work for them. It didn't work for them at all. He came through for them, although he is only shooting 60%. So you can make it work. Get Lively in, a flux at the free throw line, get Luka to the line. You don't want to get Luka to the line. You don't want to do that. But if he does in late game situations, if you have to choose, Luka and Derek Lively are guys that you can count on probably missing one or two. The Celtics, it's not their fault. But have had by far the easiest path to the finals by comparison when you consider who they went against versus who Dallas had to go against. But like I said, it's not their fault. They took care of business in the regular season and was able to secure that 1 seed. That's what you're supposed to do. That's how the game is supposed to be played. Take care of your business early, so when it comes playoff time, you got the easier matchups. That's what you want. Regardless of what social media says and what the talking heads say on TV, and even guys like me making YouTube videos, you want the easiest path possible. Yeah, it'd be looked at better if you take down the higher seeds and you go through this colossal matchup like the Miami Heat could have done last season against the Denver Nuggets. But you don't want to grind like that. Obviously, it doesn't work for Miami. It has not worked for Miami. Yes, they have made the finals in 2 of the last 5 or so seasons, but that's the recipe that they've been using. Obviously, hasn't amounted to winning the championship. So you take care of your business early. But you could argue that taking care of your business also hasn't really amounted to winning, because the Celtics have been 1-2 for the last 5, 6, 7 years now. They haven't won one either. So you gotta it's all contingent off of the postseason. The regular season really don't matter. It's just well, it does. Don't get me wrong, it does. Seedings matter for sure, because you could get matched up like, let's say, Indiana and New York, for instance. They got matched up against each other. You would think New York could come out on top of that, but when you consider how similar the two teams are with star power or all-star kind of caliber power, and the Knicks being so beat up, missing Randall and Mitchell Robinson, and then OG eventually falling down or going down, that is why Indiana was able to advance in that series. I kind of forget where I was going with that, but essentially what I'm saying is that, you want the easier path. Whether it's through injury, whether it's through you taking care of business, you want that easier path. So it's not their fault that they got the 8 seed matchup with an all-star, all-NBA talent that was injured in Jimmy Butler, or getting to the second round and taking on a depleted 4th seed Cavaliers who are missing their best player in Donovan Mitchell and essentially only have one big out there in Evan Mobley because Jared Allen isn't playing. You get out of both of those series in 5. And then you go into the conference finals and you play against that 6 seed that I just talked about, against the New York Knicks, who also got there based off of unforeseen circumstances, also known as luck. You know what I'm saying? Miami took a game from them. Cleveland took a game from them. Nearly a second without without Donovan Mitchell. And then they had to send game 1 to overtime on some late game heroics by Jaylen Brown and just some sloppy offense, like inbounding the ball or turning the ball over off their foot. Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. Granted, I see the Celtics advancing through either of those series, whether they lost Game 5 to the Cavs or lost Game 1 to the Pacers, I do see them still being in the position that they are. But that just goes to show, how well it shows me two things. It shows me, one, how vulnerable this team can be. This team is beatable. This team is very beatable. Although they were looked at as the favorite throughout the entire NBA season, once they made the Drew Holiday-Porzingis trade, they're immediately the favorite. Even with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker over there, even with Damian Lillard and Giannis over there in Milwaukee, this was the favorite to get here and to win it all. So now that they're here, they have the expectation. The NBA world has the expectation on them that they will and should win this series, regardless of how well Dallas has been playing. You are the favorite. You have the better roster. Okay, I think Dallas got a better roster, but you talk about top 6, this is definitely a better roster than what Dallas has, because really outside of Luka and Kyrie, PJ Watson was solid over there in Washington for sure. I'll give him that, bro. But outside of those three, you don't really have much consistency. Daniel Gafford's not really an offensive threat unless you're throwing him lobs or he's getting offensive putback opportunities. Same really with Derek Lively. Derek Jones Jr., if his shot's not falling, he can get to the rim. He can get you some, but that's more so lobs as well off of, other people creating for him. So they don't really have creators, while Boston has 4 of them. You talk about Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Derek White, and then Drew Holiday can create for himself as well. I said a lot there. I'm not really sure where I was going with. Oh, yeah. It shows me that they are vulnerable, and it shows me that they're beatable, but then it also shows me that this team has what it takes to win this championship. Regardless, like I said, of the easy path and all that, whatever rah-rah noise that they're hearing from the outside, regardless of all that, they have what it takes. So I'm expecting them to come out of this victorious. Now, I am rooting for Dallas. Don't get me wrong. 2 things can be, true. I'm expecting the Celtics to win, but I'm rooting for Dallas. And it's kind of weird to say that because I just gave y'all that story earlier about how they kind of fleeced my Thunder. Not really fleeced, it is what it is, but I'll use that word. Kyrie, man, like I've mentioned numerous times, man, Kyrie is my boy. I am very, very, very happy to see him back in this position after just a year ago or a couple seasons ago. Over the last couple seasons, the narrative was that he didn't care about basketball. This man cares so much about basketball. Is his joy, but it's not his life, and he's not going to let outside things control his actual life. He's going to be Kyrie Irving through and through. This is just a game. Basketball is just a game. Whether he loves it or not, it's just a game. At the end of the day, he has to go home and accept the choices that Kyrie Irving made as a man. Not on the basketball court, but as a man. And that's why that's another reason why I respect Kyrie Irving, because he stands on what he believes. Period. Through and through, he's going to stand on what he believes. I'm rooting for Kyrie Irving, man. I'm so happy to see him back here after people were calling for him to retire, bro. Stephen A. Smith said Kyrie Irving should retire from basketball. I love Stephen A., bro, but he has some of the worst takes. Like last week, I seen a take that he was trying to say Kawhi Leonard, he can make a case that he's the worst superstar in sports history. He said sports history, not NBA, sports history. We're talking NFL, MLB, FIFA. We're talking. He said sports history. That's a bad take. So this new media, what I consider myself a part of, we are legit fans of the game. We watch the game, we study the game, we've played the game. We're not talking just to get a check. We're doing this. I do this shit because I love it, bro. Regardless of what, I ain't made a dime from not nary video I've posted, bro. Nothing that y'all have watched I've made a dime off of. I do this shit because I love it, bro. And that's it. So I'm going to give y'all the real. I'm not just going to give y'all talking points that make my videos look or sound better that can make me more money. Hell no, that's not what I meant it for. That was never it. That's not who I am as a person. I'm not a dude that just talk the talk. You know what I mean? If you know me, it's me sitting in front of this camera for 30 minutes and spewing shit out, that you would be shocked. Like, if you know me as a person, like, if y'all dead ass know me in real life, I do not talk. It's because I'm not going to waste my breath saying shit that I don't want to say or something that I don't feel is important to say. So me sitting in front of this camera with y'all half an hour, 30, 40, even sometimes for an hour and saying what I have to say, if you know me, it means so much more. So with that being said, I'm rooting for the Dallas Mavericks and Kyrie Irving. Great success. Look at Jalen Brunson in there back there. Yeah. What else? Okay, Dallas Mavericks. I was talking about the Celtics and, you know, how I expect them to win. Now let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks. Like I said, on the other hand, earlier, like I stated, the Dallas Mavericks took down 3 50-win teams en route to get here. All of them were top 4 in the conference. Took down number 4, then the Clippers, in 6 games. You fought with them. You really battled in the second round against the best team in the West, in OKC. You got out of there in 4. You got out of there in 6 as well. 4 out of them. What? And then in the conference finals, you go against the 3 seed who just knocked off the 2 seed, who happens to be the team that holds the current MVP, that also just so happens to be the reigning champions from last year. You knock off that team in 5 games. You could have easily been a sweep. Could have easily been a sweep. You knocked them off in 5. That's why I have them as the most dangerous team. And my boy Pierre from Numbers on the Board, he had this team, the Dallas Mavericks. And I seen a comment, like, somebody was like, you're stupid trying to have the Mavericks as the most dangerous team coming to the playoffs. He knew exactly what the hell he was talking about, bro. And I seen shades of it. Like, I felt like he was saying the right thing. I was just so confident in my Thunder. I was so confident in the Nuggets. The Timberwolves looked good all year, especially on the defensive end, that I just didn't see it. I saw that they were dangerous, but I didn't see them being able to get into this position, bro. So shout out Pee Wee, man. Shout out Pee Wee the Plug, Pierre Andreessen of Numbers on the Board, man. Enjoy basketball, associate. I'm not associated with Enjoy Basketball. I just love the hats. I got 3 of them. Obviously, y'all know I got 3 of them. The one I'm wearing now, the trucker, for all the basketball enthusiasts. Enjoy. It's kind of dusty because it's just been sitting out and chilling. And then the spring collection, the Enjoy Basketball. So I'm not partnered with them or anything like that, but eventually, hey, I am not opposed. I rock with Kenny. I rock with Pierre, Derek, D Mills, and Mike as well. I bumped Mike's EP. Bro, that was my most played album for all of 2023. I swear to you, bro. That his EP is so clean. Like, I rock with them boys, bro. So if I could be a part of that team, and whatever, this is let this be my application or whatever, my interview, whatever. I'm enjoyed to the bone, bro. You know what I mean? I enjoy basketball. I'm not as, well versed in, basketball knowledge as Pierre, because he got hella basketball knowledge, even like with the college stuff. I don't know nothing about it. Or even Kenny. But I do know my stuff. And I watch basketball very avidly. Hey, if y'all looking for somebody to be a part of y'all's team, another podcast that y'all want on the Enjoy Network, I'm the guy. You know what I mean? I'm here for y'all. But let's get back to our video. The Dallas Mavericks have been battle tested. They have been tested. They've had their backs against the wall and have had to actually go through closeout opportunities, like closing out the series in Game 6. If you lose Game 6, Game 7, you don't know what's going to happen. So you want to close that out in as many games as few games as possible. But if you can avoid that Game 7 by any means, in which they did all playoffs. But they have that getting to Game 6 is a test in its own, because you like I said, anything can happen. You lose Game 6, go to Game 7 now. You never know. But they have had games, not only the majority of that Thunder series, Luka Doncic struggled. Lou Dort was clamping his ass. Luka Doncic struggled. Kyrie Irving in that first half, whether by choice, by design, whatever, he was not effective. So they had to find other performances from other guys like PJ Washington, Daniel Jones, Derrick Jones Jr., Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively. Somebody else had to step up other than the stars, and they had to play above their means, which I would assume would give you the ultimate confidence coming into the NBA Finals. You're a Western Conference champion. You're on the grandest stage of basketball. I would assume that would give you the most confidence to play your best basketball. After 35, 36 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there, man. I don't really have much more to say. Like I said, this is the place you want to be. The rest of the NBA Finals, even after the season is over, off season, I'm here for it. We still got our NBA 2K, like y'all seen on the TV back there. We still got our 2K coming out. We got UFC that I'm still editing and putting out. NCAA comes out next month. We got Assassin's Creed. We got the Undisputed boxing game. We have so much content that I'm bringing to y'all, bro. I just need y'all to stay tuned, stay with your boys, subscribe to the channel so y'all know when I'm posting. Let's grow this community, man. Let's keep on being enjoyers of basketball, you know what I mean? And let's grow this community, man. That's my main goal. Like when I started this, just watching, groups like not even like really groups, but like KLT for Cube, Kenny of Numbers on the Board, Enjoy Basketball, Chris Smooth, Mike Korzimba, who else? Shit, groups, AMP, RDC, all these different creators, Berlizzi, all these different creators have inspired me. And what was the biggest call to me was the community, bro. Community. I'm really big on family, and I would love to have an extended family. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel so y'all can become a part of the community. Y'all not even subscribed. Like, yes, it says subscribe, but y'all are supporters. And once you become a supporter, you become a part of the community. You're a part of the community. You're a part of the family. So with all that being said, I will catch you on the next one. Subscribe, support, and I'll see y'all. NBA Finals is here. I'm excited.